prelims results are out, and I wanted to talk a little bit around my journey. So, if you don't know, this was my third attempt. 2026 was my third attempt. I have been preparing for this exam since a really long time. During my engineering days, I used to prepare part time. Although I was very much busy with my internships, my projects, assignments, and lectures, I somehow used to manage time and learn uh, a few things from the civil services syllabus. The first subject that I had started preparing was Indian polity. But back to reality, 2026 was my third attempt, and during this attempt, I had prepared very religiously and very honestly. So before December, I was mains ready. I had completed my mains syllabus. I had written close to 700 to 800 answers in my last year, that is from June 2025 to December 2025. I had enrolled to a test series. One was for GS and the other was for political science and international relations, my optional subject. So there were few tests from PSR which I had not completed, but GS I had completed my entire syllabus with little bit remaining from the GS4 part that I was planning to cover post my prelims. But after having appeared for prelims 2026, I realized that the level of paper that they had asked was really tough. There were certain questions from history which were very difficult. I found them very absurd and vague, and during my test I tried to keep my cool. I tried to ensure that I was totally calm under pressure. So first, my strategy is to solve those 30 to 35 questions which are easier ones. So I'm used to this strategy where I first usually take up those questions which I feel comfortable, and these are such questions which are easily doable by anyone who has prepared for the exam seriously. So once I took the paper, opened my booklet, and started searching for questions, I realized that I couldn't find more than 10 questions, 10 to 15 questions, which were really easy. So out of the 100 questions that were present in GS1 or paper 1, I could just solve 9 questions with confidence, and the rest of the questions which I solved were based on logic, elimination, and some analytical skills. So I would like to give certain context. So from January, I enrolled to a prelims test series. So from January to May, I solved a lot of MCQs. I have tracked my MCQ solving sheet from 0 to close to 5,500. Post that number, I did not track because it was getting very hectic. So I solved close to 8,500 to 9,000 questions before prelims 2026. So it was a really tiring journey. I had honestly developed a good level of aptitude revolving around MCQ solving, and I think it quite helped me. So talking about my score, we'll just get to that first. So in paper 1, I'm scoring 73.3. Had they not removed question number 64 from set A, I would have scored 75.33. But nonetheless, I think one of those questions, specifically question number 64, was a disputed one. So I'm scoring 73.33 in paper 1. And in paper 2, that is CSAT, I have somehow cleared it. I am scoring 70 marks with the provisional answer key. I don't know after they might have changed certain answers or not, but after checking through the provisional answer key, I am scoring 70 marks out of 200. So I think I have definitely missed the cutoff from paper 1. I checked a lot of posts online, YouTube, Google, and some Reddit posts. Some of them are saying the cutoff is 71, some of them are claiming this cutoff is more than 80, while some of them have set the cutoff to be somewhere close to 77 and 78. So that nobody knows honestly, no matter how many calculations are being done. We can't really come to a right conclusion until we see the official cutoff, which they will release next year, probably in the month of April or May. So, yes, we will have to wait for 1 year to see the cutoff and my marks. So, these were my marks for paper 1 and paper 2. Honestly, once the result was out, I immediately went to the website, opened the PDF, and I already knew my roll number. I put in my roll number 5 to 6 times just to ensure that I'm making no mistake. But unfortunately, I couldn't see my roll number in the PDF, in the list. So it was clear that I haven't cleared the prelims 2026 exam. And it was a bit disheartening, honestly. So on the exam day, my center was more than 30 kilometers away from my home, so I had to wake up early and I booked a cab. Immediately, I think I left home at 7 and I reached the exam center early. Also, 1 week before the exam, I had taken conscious efforts to keep my mental health in a good position, in a good condition. Throughout the week, I was happy, I was not stressed at all. And having appeared for this exam twice before, I knew that messing up with the mind or taking unnecessary stress by reading something new or reading or revising at a very high pace would be detrimental to the mental health, and that was something which I didn't want. So I revised at my own pace. I had solved a lot of MCQs. As I said before, I had solved close to 8,500 to 9,000 MCQs in a span of 5 months. These were from my class test series, from PYQs and other sources. So I was all in all very confident in my mocks. I was get Later in my mocks I was getting close to 100, 105 and 107 marks, with my best score being around 108. As far as I remember, it was an open mock test. So I was pretty confident considering the set of scores that I was obtaining in my mock tests. I was pretty confident about my prelims exam, my final prelims exam, because the mocks are usually set on a tougher scale than the actual prelims. So I was, honestly speaking and frankly speaking, I was expecting marks close to 115 to 120. But nobody expected a paper like this. In fact, the UPSC chairman himself said that the paper was difficult on a post on LinkedIn. So on the exam day, I reached my center. I had a good breakfast. I had my water bottle. I was in a good mood, and I was ready for the exam. But the moment I opened the paper, I had my first section. I was having section A, and the first set of questions I saw was from history. So I realized that my strong area is political science and then economics. So this is usually my strategy. I kept turning the pages to find out questions from political science, that is Indian polity, and unfortunately, there were not many questions. Usually, the trend is that the questions from Indian polity are close to 15, but this time I couldn't find those many set of questions from Indian polity, and I was a bit shocked to see. One of the questions was about Article 13. It was, I don't know, but I do remember that I had read Article 13 from my notes a couple of times. What comes under Article 13 and what does not come under Article 13. although uh, the paper's done, but I think that was the first question that I attempted, and maybe because of certain kind of pressure, I selected the wrong option. But I still try to maintain my cool. Overall, on an average, if I had to judge my performance with respect to my temperament, I was fine. I had appeared for a number of tests. I'd taken up a lot of MCQs, so I did realize that I'm having a cool mind throughout my exam. So throughout, after completing my paper, I realized that I had solved somewhere around 70 questions, and I think 25 minutes were remaining. I'm not quite, yeah, 25 minutes were remaining, and I realized that I have to increase the number of attempts. So I did another round. It was my third round, I think. Yes, it was my third round, and in my third round, I increased the number, and I solved 88 questions out of 100. Although I didn't want to take any risk, and I'm glad I did not take any risk. Usually in my mocks, I used to solve close to 95 to 98 questions. This was my range most of the times, and during my mocks, I had realized that over attempting is definitely not a good strategy, especially when the question paper is very unpredictable and very difficult. So my safe attempt always used to be 95, 94 to 95, and this time I realized the question paper were very difficult and very factual. In my fourth round, I tried a lot to solve these 12 questions, but I could not solve any of those questions. They were purely factual, they were not conceptual, and I did not want to risk losing marks. So I decided that I would put a full stop at this point because I did not want to over attempt. And considering my previous experience from mock tests, I did realize that always over attempting a tough paper usually ends up with a very negative score. So I'll just tell you my marks breakup and I'll discuss the questions with you. Just give me a moment. Uh, so I'm scoring. So my correct questions are 49 and wrong ones are 37, and the score is coming to be 73.33. So some of the questions were very difficult. I couldn't solve. So one of them being question number 20 from set A, that is, which of the following text does the term Kshetra Patni originate from? So that was really difficult. And one question from Western Hullock Gibbons, which of the following statements are correct? So a lot of these questions, such questions where I have eliminated two options, I was remaining with two of them. I have made a mistake in this. For instance, for instance, if there is 2 and 3 and 3, and I have marked D as the right one, whereas C was the correct one. I don't know what to say. It was it fate, my destiny? But at this point, it gets very irritating because you have come so close to the answer. Out of four options, you've eliminated two, and now out of these two options, you have to select only one. So I've made a mistake in that. Like four to five questions of such types, I've lost my marks. Had I made a correct decision on that day in such questions, in such set of questions, I would have easily jumped. My score would have easily jumped from 73.33 to maybe more than 80, 85. But that is something we can just talk about now. This the the volcano that they asked, which was declared a global geopark, that was from current affairs. I did not remember honestly, although I had prepared a lot from current affairs. I must have missed out this one. Plus, they had asked a few ethics questions. One of them was correct from my end, one of them was wrong. Because it was so lengthy, I had to move to different set of questions: economics, geography, uh, political science, history, science and technology. I didn't read it properly, honestly. One of them was about BIS standards, and that is one question which took a lot of time. I think I should have skipped that question. It was really difficult. Uh, I don't know why I missed. I mean, there is one thing that I have realized, that if one question is taking a lot of time, then there are high chances that I'm going to select the wrong option. And that is what happened with that question, the BIS standards. It was really difficult. I shouldn't have attempted and shouldn't have wasted my time. But whatever has happened. I can't change the past. This was my third attempt. I had religiously prepared for this exam. I was mains ready before December. I had enrolled to two test series, as said before. I had a lot of hopes this time I would clear prelims, uh, but nobody knew that exam was going to be asked in such a manner. The level of difficulty would be this high. uh, I was honestly very disheartened after exam. I called my mom. I told her about the exam. I said her, out of every time I in my mocks, I used to solve 30 to 35 questions in my first round, and with a really really good accuracy. Out of 35 questions, 30 to 31 questions used to be correct. But this time, out of 100 questions, I could only solve 9 to 10 questions with confidence. So, of course, my mom, my parents were disheartened. They were really sad. I was sad, but I knew that I had to maintain my calm. I had to maintain my temperament because I was going to attempt my second paper. So, immediately after completing paper one, I put on my earphones. I played my playlist. I listened to my songs, my favorite songs. I hyped myself. I did a lot of walking. I had my food and appeared for the paper. I cleared paper two, and rest is history. So right now, if you ask me what is my further plan, honestly, even I'm not quite sure. Although I have done my engineering and computer science, I am confident in my skills with respect to computer science. Plus, in fact, majority of my friends are in this field as well. So they help me. I haven't spoken with most of them, honestly. I was waiting for all of this to get over. So now, within a span of few days, maybe this week, I'm going to ring up many friends of mine. I'm going to take their suggestion. There are a few options that are in front of me that I can see. Let's see what happens, how it goes, whether I want to pursue higher education or I want to do a job. I have to talk with my parents, I have to do my own research, and I have to talk to my friends because alone I can't do everything. Of course, I need people who can guide me throughout this journey. So, plus, I haven't met my mentor. I will meet him in the upcoming week. I will talk to him with my journey, my progress. And there is one more thing that I want to share with you. So, after my result, I spoke to my friend, and she sent me really she sent me a really beautiful message, and I would like to share it with you. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so she said, I'll read it out for you. Sir told me for civil services you need to be very smart, means you need to know to take the right decision in those 2 hours. That means you have to be very practical with the exam, and what I think you have that. You should seriously think about it. Believe in yourself. You have a really long journey ahead. One or one day or the other, you will make it. So, when I read this message, I was talking to her about my prelims result. I told her I checked 5 times from the PDF, from the list, but I couldn't find my number, my roll number, and I was a bit sad. And she told me this. So I had saved this message. I really felt so good after reading this message. I think such messages, such push from your friend, from your mentor, really goes a long way. And I will definitely think about it. I'll talk to my mentor, my friends, my parents, and take the decision that is best for me in the upcoming course of time. So, thank you so much. I hope I spoke a lot, and I was waiting to make this video honestly. I was waiting for the results to be out. Finally, they are out. I had a lot of things to speak. In fact, there's a lot, but we'll talk one by one. This was about prelims. I hope you take care. Everyone who's preparing for civil services, I would just say that take care of your health. Uh, don't forget to enjoy, because in the weekly test series we get so much busy that we forget to talk to our close ones and our friends and give time to ourselves. So all the best to anyone who's preparing ahead, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.